What's going on, everybody? Dependent Fanatic here. Hello. That is me. Michigan just won. I am inside. First of all, I want to say I hope that everyone out there is safe and warm during this polar vortex, the storm that is devouring the nation. Michigan's used to this. Other people may not be, and I hope all of you are being okay and safe out there. Seriously. There's been runs on generators, and they've been, it's a big deal going on right now in the nation. And I just want to say, I'm glad I live in Michigan because we're used to this, first and foremost, the bad weather. I am inside right now because of this bad weather, though. Normally, I'd be out in the garage, and some of you regulars, the subscribers maybe to the channel, know that I do all my videos out in the garage, mostly all my videos, unless some circumstances, and this is one of them. It's too cold to heat the garage, and I do not want to waste wood on trying to get that warm as it is in here right now. But I do want to talk about Michigan basketball. They just beat rival Ohio State. Michigan was favored by 16.5 points, and this was a close one. It was tied at halftime. Number 3, Michigan, was 17-1 going into this game versus Ohio State, who was 13-5. Trey Burke was honored in this game, and all of his teammates and a lot of players throughout the program came to this game. Kyle Whittingham was there. John Beilein was there. Trey Burke was honored because he was a National Player of the Year in 2013. Michigan needed to handle business in this game because Nebraska is on Tuesday at home. Undefeated Nebraska, yes. And then we are at Michigan State next Friday. Those are the games that are coming up next week for Michigan. We needed this one. Michigan also plays at Ohio State on February 8th, a couple weeks from now. So they needed to slow down these Buckeyes. And they did. They got the dub. They needed to slow down Thornton, who had 21 points per game, which they did. This game started with a Mara jam off an alley-oop. Seconds into this game, Michigan got the tip. Bam, to Cadota. Mara, alley-oop, 2-point lead for Michigan. But then Mobley hit a jumper. Burnett hit a 3 for Michigan. Tilly was a factor. He made 2 free throws for Ohio State. Michigan started with a token press early. It wasn't a full press. It was kind of just, hey, I'm here, and I'm going to make you work your way down the court, like they did in the second half to start a little bit, too, once they made a damn field goal. But Yaxel made 2 free throws. He would miss some down the stretch. Michigan would miss free throws in this game like none other, and that was my concern for this team. That and 3-point percentage was not good. We'll get to that. But, yeah, Michigan had 2 turnovers in the first 3 minutes. That is the other concern that I have for this team. It has been a problem. They average 12 per game, which is like 15th in the Big Ten. Not good. Not good. Tilly then made a layup off of one of our turnovers. And then Yaxel threw on off the backboard. And Gale blocked it. So it was 9-6 Michigan at the under 16 TV timeout. So 9 points in the first 4 minutes. That's pretty average for Michigan, but it would slow down in this first half. Another Michigan turnover led to Ohio State and a layup. Then Mobley had a layup for Ohio State off another turnover, and Ohio State had their first lead of the game. Yaxel hit a jumper, and then a bullshit call on Michigan, and a bullshit call that was not called on Ohio State. It was the same thing. One was called for Michigan, which is bullshit, and then it wasn't called on Ohio State. Led to another Ohio State lead with that Tilly jumper. Maize Johnson then had a lay-in. Thornton hit a floater for his first bucket in this game, and it gave Ohio State the lead again at the under 12 TV timeout in this first half. It was 14-3. Michigan had 5 turnovers already. Out of the under 12 TV timeout, McKinney hit 1 of 2 free throws. Mobley hit a 3. Michigan had its 6th turnover that led to 11 points off turnovers for Ohio State, as Mobley made a prayer from 3. Got out of contestation, jumped to the right, just threw it up, leaning in, and it went in. Ohio State was here to play. McKinney hit a jumper, though. It was 20-16. Ohio State had the lead at the under 8 TV timeout in the first half. Burnett then made 1 of 2 free throws. Royal hit a jumper. Yaxel made a 3. Yes, another one. Good. Yes, Yaxel, thank you. That's what you were brought here to do. Mobley hit a floater. Well, he's healthy now, of course. He's been hurt. He's been dealing with his calf and everything. And even the commentators and the coaches have said he's looking better now that he's healthy. But, man, Yaxel made a 3. Yay. Gale had a transition alley-oop off of a turnover from Ohio State. That was awesome. Mobley then hit a jumper, though. Maize Johnson laid one in again. And then Kason missed the front end of a 1-and-1. He made up for it with a layup later in this sequence. And then an alley-oop to Kason gave Michigan a lead once again, and they had the lead 28-26 at the under 4 TV timeout in the first half. Gale missed another layup. Roddy Gale, come on, I like how he takes it strong. He gets it to the hoop. But lately, he's not putting it in. He missed one. Thornton hit a layup for Ohio State. And then Johnson made a layup, Maize Johnson for Michigan. And then Royal made a layup. And then it came down to free throws. Mara had hit 1 of 2 free throws. And then Kason hit a layup. So Michigan led at halftime 33-30. There wasn't much offensive game planning going on for Michigan. There was one early where Burnett hit that 3 where they had Mara in the corner on the baseline at 3. They passed it to him. He dribbled. He passed it to Burnett, who just replaced his spot in that corner at the 3. Mara blocked it off. Burnett hit the 3. That was an awesome play. But there's not too many plays that Dusty May comes up with. It's just go, 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 and that's why turnovers happen for Michigan. But they equaled them turnovers with assists in this game. I think they had a lot of assists, but it was 33-30 at halftime. And Michigan's 8 first half turnovers and 5 missed free throws. And they were also only 2 of 11 from 3. is what allowed this game to be close early in the first half. That is not what we need. We need to, and I kept saying it, and my dad kept saying, preach, tell them. Because every time I said, don't turn it over this time, they didn't. If you get fouled, make the free throws. They started to later in this game, but not early. Anyway, in the second half, Michigan woke up. Mobley hit a jumper for Ohio State to start the second half. Yaxel made 1 of 2 free throws. Another miss from the free throw line. A reverse layup from Bynum for Ohio State was beautiful. Pump fake, got right in there. Reverse layup, awesome. Yaxel then missed 2 more free throws. Mobley hit a 3. Tilly hit a 3. And Michigan had to call a timeout because Ohio State was right back on had the lead. Johnson then had a lay-in. Thank God for Morris Johnson. He's the Energizer Bunny. That's what I view Morris Johnson as. McKinney made 2 free throws. Yes, we did it at that point. Cadeau then got a steal, and it led to a Yaxel layup. Then, on a 2-and-1, versus Johnson, in transition, he blocked a layup. The guy passed it. He was guarding the guy with the ball. The guy with the ball passed it right over his head. Morris just turned right around and blocked that fucker. That was awesome. I loved that. He blocked the layup. It was a 40-40 tie, though, at the under 16 TV timeout in the second half. Yaxel had an offensive putback. McKinney laid one in, and he made the free throw after being fouled. It was an and one off of a steal from Michigan. Beautiful transition play. That's what I say. I love getting up the court. Ohio State was good at getting back on defense. A lot of these teams are going to do that versus Michigan. So we need to be able to execute half-court offense. Bynum hit a 7-foot 3. But then an oop off the rim and an offensive foul by Yaxel, which I thought was bullshit, was 2 more turnovers by Michigan, giving Ohio State the ball back. They didn't do much, but then Tilly banked in a 3. He got lucky and banked in a 3 for Ohio State. Gale had an offensive putback, and it was 47-46 Michigan at the under 12 TV timeout in this game. Mara missed a 1-and-1, the front end. And then Jegovan and Jogovan, whoever from Ohio State, got a bucket. He hit a floater for them. McKinney made a technical foul free throw, and then Kason hit a layup from Michigan. Thornton got to the line and hit 2 free throws. Johnson then jammed one home right after that. Tilly missed 1 of 2 free throws. And then Cadeau decided he's going to be a sharp shooter from 30 feet. He made a 30-footer. And then later he'd make a 33-footer. We'll get to that. Michigan was up 55-51 at the under 8 TV timeout in this game here in Chrysler Arena in Ann Arbor. Out of that TV timeout, Mara made 2 out of 2 free throws. Then Cadeau made that 33-footer. And Michigan was up 9 points now in this game. And I thought, Dad and I both were thinking, maybe they are going to cover the 16.5 point spread. After all, Michigan had like 34 points in 30. It was close to 30 minutes. It wasn't good. Lowest scoring output in the first half, I think, that we've had this season, if I'm not mistaken. You'd have to go fact check me on that, Blake. But I think it was a terrible offensive output in the first half. Michigan turned it on a little bit more in the second half here. They made the free throws for one. Then a steal. Or no, yeah. A goaltend was called on Mara. He blocked it. It probably was a goaltend. It was on its way down. But then Mara had a layup, beautiful, from Cadeau, one of his 8 assists in this game. Mobley had a 3 for Ohio State, but Mara with a putback jam was amazing down the stretch. Then a steal for Michigan led to a Landenborg layup. That was awesome. It was 66 to 56, Michigan, at the under 5 TV timeout, I guess, because Ohio State called the timeout after the 16 to 6 run that Michigan was on. Out of that timeout, Mara stole the ball on the inbound play, and McKinney drilled a step aside 3. Wasn't step back, wasn't step in. Fake, step aside, drilled it, beautiful. Mara then made 2 more free throws. 2 of 2 again. And the commentators were saying, Dusty May told him, we like transition, but first you need to make the free throw. Then transition. And he did. Tilly had a layup from the... This Tilly guy is pretty good. He was on the perimeter. Pump fake layup. Beautiful. And then Thornton missed a free throw. He was 1 of 2 from the line. Then Gale was 1 of 2 from the line for Michigan. Thornton hit a 3. Yaxel then had a jam that was awesome. Got the crowd going again. Let's go. Ohio State jacked a bunch of 3s and missed all of them down the stretch, which was awesome. Michigan dribbled out the clock and won this game 74 to 62, a 14-point deficit. So they didn't cover the spread. Hey, you can't win them all, but at least we actually won. Yaxel played 31 minutes and had 18 points, 9 rebounds, and 4 assists, and 3 steals in 31 minutes. Guy's a beast. He wasn't good from 3, 1 of 5 or something like that. But Morris Johnson was 6 of 6 from the field. In 27 minutes, he had 7 rebounds as well. Mara had 4 blocks in this game, 11 points, and 6 rebounds in 29 minutes. But most importantly, he was 5 of 7 from the free throw line. That is huge going forward for Michigan. Michigan finished 5 of 23 from 3. 15 of 25 on the free throw line. And they had 14 turnovers. And yet they beat Ohio State, vaunted rivals, who came for blood. One of their players said, we're searching for blood. And I'm like, well, that's not, I guess maybe it's a metaphor, but they actually were coming for blood. They were physical. They were bumping. They were tapping. It was a physical game. They were coming for blood. And yet Michigan won this game. Freshman Trey McKinney and sophomore LJ Kason played admirably down the stretch for Michigan, as well as Elliot Cadeau with those 2 huge long 3s that he hit and 8 total assists. In a close game, in a half-court situation, on defense, don't let them shoot 3s. Don't let them make them. You got to go a little bit smaller in those instances. And Michigan did. They got a lot of run late in this game. I liked it. Cheddar played hard even though he didn't score and had a turnover. He played hard. Michigan won the game because of size. I love Michigan's size. And defense was good once again, limiting them to 62 points. And Ohio State was only 8 of 27 from 3 and lost the rebound battle 27-36. Size matters. But size matters small and big. Every scenario throughout this game, I thought Dusty May did an amazing job for Michigan in this one. And we didn't lose to the rivals, which is good because, like I said, we have Nebraska and then we're at Michigan State this upcoming week. But one thing about Michigan's schedule that I pointed out in the preseason is not one of our games have been to 2-day separation. We get 3 days every game to prepare for the next opponent. And Dustin May is going to be on top of all that. And I love some of his plays, like I said. The one where Namari Burnett cut in, what a cut in. It looked like a football play. Cut in, and then it was like a lateral to Mara. He just mishandled it. It was one of Michigan's turnovers. It went out of bounds. That was a beautiful play. So I'm excited to see what Michigan has going down the stretch, especially versus undefeated Nebraska on Tuesday. Go Blue. Like the video. Share, subscribe with other people. I'll be here. Yeah, it's been a while. I know. I have plans. I'm going to talk about the transfer portal gets for Michigan. Michigan's depth chart as a whole in football coming up in a video soon. So stay tuned for that. Always hockey. I love Michigan hockey. Even though I've only been able to watch 2 of their games, I think. I don't have the streaming services, and I don't think they're even on those a lot of the time. It's hockey. Even though, it should be. I love watching Michigan hockey. I can't wait. They had a bye week this weekend. Michigan dominated. They beat Indiana by 14, right? And then they just beat Ohio State by 14. Since the loss to Wisconsin, it's been double-digit wins in the Big Ten for Michigan. Let's keep it up. Go Blue.